There we go. We're live. Sorry about that hiccup. I've just been yapping for about 50 seconds and no one's heard me. So tonight I'm going to play Donkey Kong Jr. on the NES Classic, like the Classic Mini. So I'm doing this for a high score challenge over on my Discord server. It is free to join. I put a link in the chat box. So please feel free to join. I would love it if some people decided to take a moment and join this. All you do is take a video or a picture of you playing it. This is going to be game B, but there's also other stuff on the server, lots of different forums. You know, people talk about Atari and television, Sega, Nintendo, stuff like that. So anyways, let's see who's in the chat. We got Ryan, Radio Poultry's here, Pirate Gamer Boy, who's played DK3 more than anything else. I'm guessing you owned it growing up. Let's see, Roy's here. Classic Video Game Man is here. And XJ is here as well. So I'm assuming y'all can hear me now. Someone just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear my voice. I accidentally had the wrong microphone selected in my streaming program. So this is going to be game B. Oops, I forgot to do game B, so I gotta reset it. How do you reset? I don't know how to reset. I hit the reset button. So I guess that's one way to do it. Still getting to learn this. Oh, Segi's here. Segi did a really good job. I want to say, if Segi, while you're here, I really appreciated you streaming the Amico event in Boston. I think it's you're the first person that I know of who streamed an event, and it really helped, give people an idea what was going on. So that was really cool to do. Segi is a very pro Amico person, but she's also very pro talking to other people about it, even if they disagree. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate people who, when it comes to things like the Amico, are willing to listen to people who they may not 100% agree with. So, and I already got one level done just talking. Let's see. And this game was released on a ton of not just systems, but a lot of ways to play this NES port. I have it on my 3DS. I think it was part of the Ambassador program. Is how I got it on 3DS. It might be available on the eShop there. I also have it, believe it or not, as an e-reader game. If you don't know what the e-reader was, it was something that you plugged into the Game Boy Advance, and it scanned cards to download games. And someday I have to do a review of it, but it was a little bit tedious. I also played this on my 7800, not this version. I think you could also unlock it in Animal Crossing, the original one. If you had a code or card, there was a way to unlock it. Because one of the things I liked about the original Animal Crossing... Ooh, I wasn't paying attention. One of the things I liked about the original Animal Crossing is that you could actually unlock NES games and play them within the game, which is something I don't think they did in the other Animal Crossing games. I think only the original GameCube version could you do that. So let's see what I could do here. So like I said, if you just joined me, this is for a high score challenge on my Discord server, which is free to join. There's a link. So if you ever want to talk to other retro fans, retro game, movies, shows, people talk about all sorts of stuff over there. And it's a pretty friendly environment. You know, I try to encourage people to avoid drama over there and just, let's talk about the stuff that unites us. The game is the devil, according to Sega. It's given her a lot of trauma. I saw you rank the Atari 2600 port very low. Yes. The Atari 2600 port is awful. I don't know how else to say it. It's really interesting because Coleco, of course, handled the ports for the 2600 and for the Intellivision and stuff like that. So the Intellivision port of Donkey Kong is considered one of the worst ports out there. It's often considered one of the worst games ever released on the Intellivision. Yet Donkey Kong Jr. on the Intellivision is a pretty well-made game. You go to the 2600, Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong on the 2600 is actually not bad for what it is. Yes, it's missing 2 levels, but it controls fairly well, and a lot of people who grow up with it actually enjoy it. Donkey Kong Jr., on the other hand, oh, that thing has some sound effects that will really scratch your ears out. Nails on a chalkboard, bad sound effects. The controls are not the greatest, which of course you need good controls in a Donkey Kong game. And there we go. We just got this, and XJ's telling me that Donkey Kong Jr. is on the 3DS eShop for anyone to buy, and Muskind's here as well. So I will try to pick up playing Legend of Zelda next time. If you didn't know, I've been playing through Legend of Zelda on the same thing, on the NES Classic, even though I have a physical cartridge. I do not any longer have a physical cart of Donkey Kong Jr. I do have the e-reader set. I could play it that way, which is the NES version. So this is probably going to be a shorter stream than usual, which is good because I need to get some sleep. Let's see, Jessica's here, and she says that this game is her favorite of the three, except for the second stage. Jerome's here, welcome. So when are you coming to play the Amico, sir? Well, you know what? I may have various issues with the Amico, with the way some of the things have been handled with it, but I would play it if I had the opportunity. I'm not anti, like, this system. I would give it a try, and I talked to a few people who went to the event. Some people just came out and talked to me, and it seems like just about everyone who played it said, it's good. And I was really happy for my friend of the show, Atari Creep, because he got to see his family bond playing video games, which is a hobby of his, and he says that doesn't happen. And that really, he made an emotional video about that. So, that for me is a win, because he's my buddy. I knew him way before the Amico was a thing. So, I'm happy for him. So I'm not anti the Amico, and I think I've said it before. If the price was what it originally was supposed to be, I might have one pre-ordered today. So price is a huge factor for the Amico for me. That's part of it. So I'd play it if it was local. If I could do it, if I had the, I do think they definitely have to give more notice. But I would play it. I would give it a shot. And if it came out and there was a price drop, or if I ended up with a ton of money extra, I might buy one. The reviewer side of me would buy one just to review it, because I review everything, good or bad. So yeah, if it was close to me, I would play one. So let's see. And now I have to focus on the birds. Look at all that. Got the 3 chain people thingy-mabobs. I forget what they're called. Lockjaws? I don't think... Is that right? That might be right. Might be wrong. So let's see. Let me pause for a second. One of the most amazing things about the e-reader is that it lets you physically recognize just how small those original black box games truly were. Yeah, I think it takes something like 10 cards, and the cards have 2 sides each that you have to scan it. Think of it, if you're not familiar with the e-reader, like scanning your credit card using the magnetic strip on a reader like that. I know now it's all chip technology, but that's how you do it. But you'd have to scan it like 10 times to play the game. And so you have to play it 10 times or scan it 10 times. And sometimes it doesn't read it, so you have to scan it again. So it's kind of tedious. Once you scan a game into the e-reader, it stays in there. But once you want to play a different game, you have to rescan it. So let's see. Atari Creep's kids were so adorable. Fun meeting him and his family. Best thing about these events is meeting all the new people. If you have a Twitter, hit me up and I'll give you the tea. Yeah, I'm on Twitter at the No Swear Gamer or something like that. But yeah, it was nice to see a Creep have a good time with his family. That means a lot to me. And honestly, like I said, I may have issues with the Amico, but I want the people who ordered it, who pre-ordered it, who buy it, I want them to enjoy it because it ends up being a good deal for them. And so I do want them to do that. So when I do criticize the Amico and some of the things, I honestly do it in a way where if a Tommy Tellerico or someone on television was listening, where maybe they could take my advice and make things better. That's how I always kind of go about it. I kind of tell them, I kind of not wear my heart on my sleeve, but I try to be constructive whenever, and that's how it is even when I review games. Oh, come on. Even when I review games, I try and do it in a way where if a developer was listening, they could use the feedback to make games better. That's my review. So I'm never 100% negative or positive. Well, I mean, unless something is positive 100%. So I try to be constructive. I believe in constructive criticism. It's just been hard with the Amico because it's been so polarizing where you're either for or against it. I am glad to say it is people like Segi. I know the Creep. I am seeing more people talk about it on both sides without getting so wrapped up in it emotionally that they can't talk about it. Does that make sense? I think it does. Look at that. That's how you do it. Well, Golden's here. Welcome. He won the last high score challenge on my Discord server for Superman for the Atari 2600. So he's going to work with me to pick a game after this one. This game is 24K in size. That's smaller than some in television games. Wow. Oh, awesome to see this. I had the Donkey Kong Classics card as a kid. If you guys don't know what that is the NES cartridge that has Donkey Kong 1 and this game on it, 2 and 1. One of the greatest games of all time, in my opinion. That's from Mechanical Animal. By the way, welcome to y'all if I haven't said welcome yet. If only those sound effects happened in real life. My friend bought an e-reader that had Donkey Kong Jr. loaded onto it already. Yes, because when you load the games in the e-reader, there is memory. It will hold the game for, I don't know if it saves it indefinitely. Like, I don't know how it saves it, but it's there. It's there. So you could, if you picked up an e-reader today at like a Salvation Army and popped it in, it might have a game loaded onto it. Let's see, perhaps the rarest Mario Party out there is the e-reader. I do own that one, just never played it. I have Mario Party for the e-reader as well. I did play it one time with a buddy. We had a blast. We hooked it up to my Game Cube, the Game Boy Advance player, and we used that. I think you were 100% negative with Sword Quest Fire World, as everyone should be. Yes. Well, I'll say something positive. It turned on, and you could turn it off. Segi says she's not even a retro gamer, a current gen gamer. I was asked to give the Amico a chance, and I did. Didn't, however, know that the swarm of hate that came my way when I did. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, and that's part of, kind of the polarization, especially on social media of our day and age, because it's not just video games, but it's the fact that I have an opinion. I like something, and people will just come out of the woodwork and tell you either you're the greatest thing or the worst thing ever just based on opinions. That's one of the things I don't care about, like the past decade in social media. Social media can be really good for connecting people, but can also bring crazies together and really attack people, just based on their preferences sometimes. My favorite sound effect in this one is when you're walking on the platformer. Yeah, I like that too. NES version is pretty good. Thank you, John. I DM'd you with my next pick. If you're okay with Food Fight, absolutely. So we're going to play Food Fight. So this challenge is going to last through the end of November. Then the beginning of December, we're going to do Food Fight, which is kind of fitting because the holidays, lots of food. That's a great game. Yes, people in the middle get dumped on both sides. Could be a good system if they can get it out. Polarizing figure running it is mostly where the issues come from. Ryan says, I like pizza. I love that. Do you know what, Ryan, that reminds me of? You ever seen Multiplicity? Who is it? Michael Keaton. Okay. Michael Keaton, in Multiplicity, his character in the movie clones himself so he can get more done. And they make so many clones that one of the he juked me there. One of the clones is at my first score, 53,900. So, one of the clones in that movie So they keep cloning, and they made a clone of a clone of a clone, and he comes out acting kind of special. He's not too bright, and there is one scene where it sticks in my head to this day, where he says this line. He goes, "I like Pete." Oh, come on. Let's get out of that. So this is my first score. Anyways, he has a piece of pizza, and he says, "I like pizza. I like it a lot." And I think he like licks a piece of pizza, and then he puts it in his wallet. And for something, I don't know why that scene just stuck in my head. I don't know if any of you have a scene from a movie that for whatever reasons sticks in your head, but that does for me. So let's see what's going on in the chat real quickly. Social media is a cesspool of crazy. But you meet some awesome people. Yes, that's true. Yes, I've met some really, that's the thing. Like me and Atari Creep, we're buds, and we're kind of different. We're different people, right? You watch my channel, anyone can watch it. It's a family friendly channel. Atari Creep, not so much, but we get along just fine, even though, we have disagreements on things like the Amico or whatever. So have you ever thought of reviewing more Nintendo DS games? I have. It's a slight pain. I use real systems. So with Nintendo DS games, I record the DS itself. But yeah, I have. There's so many games I wish I could review. I like you because you're nice and nobody fights with each other. Well, I do encourage that. I encourage people to talk. Let's not fight, right? Segi has a stream to hop on, but checking out more. I like these kind of streams. I'll hit you up on Twitter. So yes. And I know that some of the people on the Pro Amico side have talked about, like Mad Max has talked about potentially, or Movie Madness has talked about having me on to chat sometime. And I'm totally game for that. I like the fact that people can talk, because that's one of the things about the Amico is sometimes it's all one side or the other. And I think that does turn people off after a while when it's either just a love fest or a hate fest. So I think it's cool when people can hear more than just, "I love it, greatest thing ever," or "the worst thing ever. This is totally 100% scam." So, can't we all just get along? Let's see. And speaking of getting along, let's get along to this Vine. Cable news is extremely toxic. Yeah, with a lot of cable news, you have to know what their slant is, right? Because I think just about every major cable news network has a slant to the left or the right. So I have, let me put it this way. There was a time when I was staying really on top of politics, listening to stuff, radio, podcasts, whatever. And of course I have views and opinions, but right now I'm just playing games. I don't want to get into that. That's not what this is about. It's not about politics. And there was a period of my life where I decided to stop listening to the news, stop listening to political podcasts, and also basically stop paying attention to social media for just because of all this stuff that was being posted on social media, because, so many people on social media, they use it as a platform, which they can, and they share their opinions on various topics. And I don't know. I just kept getting dragged down. And what I found is when I tried to share my opinions, there was just more fighting than anything else. It wasn't productive. Oh, I was worried with that one. And since I've stopped paying so much attention to the news, since I've stopped paying so much attention to social media as far as that stuff goes, I have found that I'm just happier. I literally am happier because I'm not thinking about topics that are divisive. I'm not thinking about stuff because if you listen to most news, is no matter which slant they are, they're probably going to tell you why life is going to crash and burn because of this person or this proposal, and it's going to be the end of the world as we know it. And I'm just so much happier just not listening to that stuff. People talk about taking social media breaks or whatever. I think that's a good idea sometimes. But enough of that. Let's play some more Donkey Kong Jr. Okay, let's see if we do that. And I can do this. Let's get around. Ooh. There we go. Discord channel is very cool. Check it out. Yes. Do I like Gex? Like the Gecko Gex? I used to have that game on the Saturn for a while when I had a Saturn. Well, I have a Saturn again, but I actually bought a Saturn when it came out. Not when it came out, but when it was active, I guess is a better way to say it. They were doing a promotion where you could buy a Saturn. You know, Sega was losing to the PlayStation pretty bad. They did a promotion. Buy a Saturn, you get 3 games free. You would get Daytona USA, and I want to say Virtua Fighter 2 and Virtua Cop. And so I bought that when they were doing that promotion, and honestly that was kind of when it was going downhill. They didn't support it much, but I did get a decent collection over time. Had some games that ended up becoming rare. I actually pre-ordered Shining Force 3. I missed out at pre-ordering Panzer Dragoon Saga. I tried to, there's a store that I bought that I pre-ordered Shining Force 3, and that was Babbage's. Like, they're like a GameStop. I think GameStop, or the company that's now GameStop, I think they bought them out. And so I pre-ordered the one. I had enough money for one game. I decided to go with Shining Force because I was a fan of the first 2. And I enjoyed it. And then it's like, you know what? This Panzer Dragoon Saga sounds interesting. I went to go see if they could get it in. And basically all they got in was their pre-orders, and they didn't carry it after that. So I missed out on Panzer Dragoon. Oh, I did that again. Saga. So let's see. It's tail time. We're doing Gex stuff. Taking a step away from social media is smart. A lot of people I know have done it because of how unpleasant. I don't pay attention to news much. The most I catch up with it is at my grandparents' house. Decided to give up on networks. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are on a similar page. I do really enjoy the 2600 Nintendo ports. Games like DK Jr. and Popeye. Yeah, I don't like DK Jr., but I like DK and Popeye. I would love to see Nintendo make a retro NES Maker where people can make their own levels for Donkey Kong and other NES games like Mario Maker. Interesting. Risk remembers the promotion. Baron's here. Hello. I got Saturn right as it was going out. The cashier gave me that 3-game promotional pack just before buying another Saturn game. They were really trying to get rid of them. Anyone else hope Nintendo makes more Game & Watch units? I could see a Donkey Kong ones bundled with a light up banana on the back. So, yeah, I'm really digging. I'm really digging my Zelda Game & Watch. I do like the idea. The Mario Game & Watch I never bought and never super appealed to me because I don't know. I like Super Mario Brothers 1, but for some reason, oh no. Ooh, slick moves there. The game selection on it just didn't seem like worth $50 to me is basically what it came down to. But I like the Zelda one, and someone, I think it was in my Zelda Game & Watch unboxing, mentioned like what if they made one with the Metroid and Kid Icarus, like a combo one. Which I think would be a fabulous idea. Actually, I think a Metroid one just by itself could potentially work. Because you could have, let's see, Metroid. I mean, especially if you open it up to the Super Nintendo. I mean, if you had a Game & Watch where you could play Metroid, Super Metroid, Metroid 2 on the Game Boy, maybe Metroid Zero or Metroid Fusion. I think we're talking a fun Game & Watch. But you could do one with, because Kid Icarus and Metroid, they're kind of like related. They were silver box games. They really were starting to show what the Nintendo could do. So I could easily see one with Metroid for the NES, Kid Icarus for the NES, Metroid 2 for the Game Boy, Kid Icarus for the Game Boy. What was that? Myth and Monsters or whatever it was called? That would be a really cool unit. But a Donkey Kong one would work too, especially like the one criticism I have is there was a Zelda Game & Watch game. I think it was a double screener, but I wish that they could do something like that. You know, even if they emulated the the Zelda watch. There was a Nintendo watch that had Zelda games on it. It was like a wrist watch. Give me a break here, guys. Come on. Whew. That would be cool. That would be... I wish the Game & Watch had a Zelda Game & Watch style game, not just the Vermin with Link in it instead. Let's see. So I think this will be my last attempt tonight. It is getting late. And I purposely did this. I did this so I wouldn't spend as much time like I did with the Zeldas. The past 2 nights I've done Zelda. They've been like hour-long streams. And I should really get to bed soon. Ooh! Oh, I made a mistake there. Made a mistake. Let's see. Let's pause this. Let's get caught up on the chat. So, what do you guys think of YouTube disabling the dislikes? I don't know. I mean, I understand the point because, you know, sometimes there are trolls out there. There's times that I was doing a live stream. I didn't post it yet and people already disliked it. I like constructive criticism. I don't just like hating on something just to hate it. But at the same time, I'm like a, you know, free speech kind of person. So, you know, I could live or go. I mean, it's YouTube. Whatever they decide to do, they do. I wouldn't mess with it. But if they want to take it off, it's not the biggest thing in the world. Norberto's here, just ready for my next Zelda live stream. I know you can't have a live stream without Norberto. That's right, my buddy Norberto. Absolutely love the Saturn. Majority of the games I own are Japanese releases. Let's see. The Mario Game & Watch missed the mark, in my opinion. I wanted the classic arcade Mario Brothers on. Interesting. Zelda Game & Watch is spiffy. My dislikes are still enabled. Rarely use them. Yeah, they're still on there. I agree completely on the Zelda Game & Watch versus the Mario one. Zelda's much better value. Atari, A-Tran fanatic. So a Transformer fanatic. Hey, Mr. Nosware. Optimus Prime is one of my favorite Transformers. Optimus Prime and Soundwave. I have a knockoff Model 1 original G1 Optimus Prime on my desk above my head right now. And I have a Soundwave, the Walmart reissue, in the same room somewhere. My brother had a Ninja Gaiden LCD watch game. It was okay. Thanks for the stream. You're always welcome. With these Mario Zelda handhelds, wonder when the Game Boy Retro is something that Nintendo would pursue, or GBA Retro. I would like that, like a Game Boy with built-in games, or a GBA with built-in games. I think that'd be really awesome, but I think Nintendo is just going to do this Game & Watch thing right now. Let's see. No, the main reason they got rid of the dislikes is mainly the MSM and White House channels. I'm not sure what MSN is. White House channels. Yeah, I do know that the president's videos gets a lot of dislikes. And I don't like them doing it for political reasons, because they should be politically neutral. I don't like that. I don't like it when they like, well, they're disliking something. I mean, if they're going to leave it up. You know, either take it. It should be a neutral decision. So I will say, if it's politically motivated, I really dislike the decision. Really dislike it. But I don't want to get into politics. We need this makes me uncomfortable button for the weird part of YouTube. That's hilarious. Grimlock is my favorite. Yes, I have all the Dinobots, Starscream, and Sideswap from Generation 1. Starscream was really good. I like the Starscreams that I like the Starscreams that come with the crown that he had in the movie. I think that's a cool touch. To this day, man, I remember seeing the movie in the theater. I remember I didn't have a VCR growing up, but my uncle did. And when I visited one time, we rented Transformers the movie. That was just such a great movie, in my opinion. I did not like Optimus Prime dying. There we go. Did not like that. I think it was a mistake to kill Prime. I understand why. Yeah, there we go. But Mainstream media. Okay. Thank you. I do know that there's been some YouTube channels I've been watching discussing different different ideas, and they've been kind of censored, I guess, and I don't like that. I'm all about exchanging. Let people make a decision what they think is truth and not. Don't make it for them. If does that make sense? And if some people end up being knuckleheads because of it, then that's the price of freedom. You should be free to be a knucklehead. Live action movies are very bad, though. Yeah, there's things about the live actions. I've heard good things about Bumblebee. I haven't seen it yet, but at least Peter Cullen came back to do the voice. I'll give him that. Look at all those whatever they're called. Not chain chomps. That's Mario. Ooh. Do I have another life, or is that the last one? Let's see. I got one more life. Oh, they reset it. That stinks. That stinks that they reset it. I really do enjoy this level, but man, can it be difficult. I like the sound going up the chains. The sound of locking in the keys. So that's going to be my kind of watermark or whatever. 73,600. I'll use that if anyone wants to do the high score challenge at my Discord server. See if you can beat my score. I'm not eligible for this high score challenge because I selected the game. Whoever selected the game is not eligible. It gives more people a chance to play the game. So basically, if you win a challenge, you get to host the next one and let someone else win. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I have 2 Game & Watches, Mickey Mouse and the Club Nintendo Repro of Ball. That's cool. Yeah, since Nintendo can sell these things for $50, they're not going to make a Game Boy Mini. The economics make sense. The original movie, Transformers, was great. I have about 3/4 of the original Generation 1 toys, a lot of them in boxes. That's amazing. The live action movies are bad. I think we talked about that. The 80 movie was the best. It was dark and weird compared to the series. Yeah. Talking about how in the next Mario movie, there should be references to Donkey Kong, talking about YouTube and Google's political leanings. And, I don't mind people having political leanings. Just don't force it. Don't let it, stunt the conversation, I guess is a good way to say it. Yeah, you don't want advertisers. Maybe there could be money involved. The advertisers don't want downvotes. I can understand that. You should be free to be a knucklehead. Cheers, I'll drink to that. That's from XJ. Yeah, the movie. The Mario movie won't touch it, but wouldn't it be funny if they did? Mario, a donkey kidnapper or whatever. Yep, a cybernetic organism, Optimus Prime, did the most human act of self-sacrifice. Bumblebee was simply the best for not having the voice for JJ to ruin it. If only these keys were math problems, this game would be perfect. Oh, Jerome's got to go. I'll see you later, Jerome. Let's see. Gives us a chance to buy a card. I found the whole NES system on Discord. Cool. I have a handful of original Game & Watch games, including the double screen Zelda. Very cool. I asked this on Atari Creeps chat, so I'll ask here first. I ask here too. If you were to introduce a newbie to the Atari 2600, what's the first game you'd have them play? The first game I would have them play probably would be, I think, Space Invaders, because it was the original killer app. It's a simple game for anyone to pick up and play. I mean, I would want to get them into games like Adventure and Haunted House. I really like those. Ms. Pac-Man is really good. I think people should play E.T. just to experience it. Oh, Atari Creep's here, showing up just at the end here. We were talking about you a little bit earlier on, Creep. Segi was here and talking about how great your kids were. So they should do a reboot of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, but you can't do it without Captain Lou. Man, who knew Captain Lou Albano, the manager of my favorite tag team of all time, the British Bulldogs, would be such a great Mario. He is an awesome Mario. But yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, if the gamer is open-minded and wants to learn stuff, you know, I would give them Adventure. You know, if they can but some people have a hard time with Adventure for whatever reason. Part of it's the weird way the maze makes or moves around and stuff like that. But I think they should also play Pac-Man and E.T. and experience the bad games just to see, because I don't think those games are bad as people say. You have to know how to say them. Yeah, the paddle games, those are good ones too. I would go with Super Breakout. I prefer that. But yeah, the paddle games. Let's see, River Raid, Vanguard, Pitfall. But yeah, I'd do Space Invaders very first if they were a complete newbie. Combat's a good one too if there was a second player, because of course that was the first game. In a sense, it was the packing game. So for many of the very first Atari 2600 owners at that time, the VCS, the video computer system, before it was called the 2600, Combat was the first game that they would have played, more than likely. But Space Invaders, that's the one. That's the first, that's often considered the first killer app. And it's, like I said, easy to pick up and play. Kangaroo Rebooted. Yes, I would play that. Captain Lou was my Mario, plus he had a crush on Elvira. He had good taste. Was that in the show he had the crush, or was that in real life? Because I never heard that. I did the same sort of thing to an Atari noob, and we had a blast. Very, very cool. The first game I give him is Fast Food. You're getting fatter. Watch out for the purple pickles. All right, so that is Donkey Kong Jr. I want to encourage you. It's pinned in the chat. It's in the description, but join the Discord server if you haven't already. Lots of retro fans. It's free to join. Talking about all sorts of retro things. We try to keep it drama free the best we can. All my videos and rankings are posted there as well, but there's people talking about Sega, Atari, Nintendo, whatever your cup of tea is, it's there. We do contests, giveaways. I do giveaways usually at least one a month. I got one right now going on. I'm giving away some football stuff, like a handheld Mattel football, or is it? I don't know which football it is. Might be the Coleco one. So giving that away, and we do these high score challenges, and I want to see, it would be great if I saw some of you come on and just try to see what your best score you could get on Donkey Kong Jr. for Game B variation would be. So come join the Discord if you haven't already. Like I said, free to join. You can support the show on Patreon. That's a kind of thing to financially support the show, but of course you don't have to do that. Got a lot of free stuff available all over the YouTuber universe. But thanks for joining. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. I will see you next time.